real right now.
Mr. DL.
222 222. Who's off? I could just lose your mind.
Yo,
We gotta do that.
we here. So 58, right?
Oh yeah, 58.
Yeah, like that 58 Chevy or whatever it is, man. But instead, you got Big Suge.
Mr. DL.
And Chef Tanya Nicole, welcome to the Danger
You know what I'm
Zone.
saying? Three the right way. And if you don't understand what's going on, then just say Boricua.
Boricua.
Anybody around to just get connect.
That
You
did
know
not
what
make
I'm
any
saying?
sense, so I'm not gonna support that. But
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, because, sometimes you got to say stuff that just because you're saying, nah, I'm on bullshit. So Nipsey Hussle's killer was sentenced to 60 years to life in prison.
yeah, we spoke about that last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we talked about that. But what is there new developments?
No, actually, it actually wasn't locked in stone at the time.
Oh, that's what he
I
was
guess 'cause
facing.
Oh,
I think they tried to get he wanted something lower, obviously. You know what I mean? And they were like, listen, man, you're getting this 60 years to life, which is, we know he's going to be two things. He's going to be a dust cover, or he's going to be in PC. It's not going to be good for him. So, there's
that
too many.
was also a message for people going out for these artists on whatever it is.
If you go in PC as an inmate, if you choose, hey, I'm gonna go in PC, is it up? Like, can you leave whenever you want, or they tell you have to be here for this amount of time or something like that? I don't know. I've never been there.
Because I mean, I guess you could, but if you think about it, motherfuckers in there are some fair their life shit.
Yeah.
Even if you get beat up, like say DL is chilling and you want to stay in there, but you want to stay in population, but they see you all beat up in the face, right?
Yeah.
Then you're going to PC. So it's like you can say, no, I'm straight, looking like Jiffy Pop or some shit. But they're gonna put your ass in there. You know what I'm saying? So but knowing, I got a good story, man. Real quick though. Speaking of that, so when there was a time I was incarcerated, and this dude was always used to getting locked up. He was always used to getting locked up for juvenile shit. So now he's grown man. He's in a grown man prison. You know what I mean? And I'm like, he's acting silly, running around with dudes, playing basketball, joking with people and shit like that. Then he's like, he act like I don't know. He was in some like summer camp shit. So one day we having dinner or meal, and for some dumbass reason, this jail had metal trays, metal cups, and metal forks, silverware. So everything was metal up in there. You know what I'm saying?
That's not safe.
It's crazy, man. This is the truth. Child Street, everybody know about the old Child Street. Everything was metal. So dudes reaching over trays and shit, like reaching on stuff, that's definitely a no-no already. So he reached over dudes, playing dudes like, reach over that one more time, whatever. And dudes like, you should have, man. Like, cause he think it's like, some kiddie shit. So he reached over again.
Like that's your brother doing it.
Yeah, and next time put his hand over there, dude put the fork straight through it. Boom, like the metal fork, and then jumped on him, served his face up, whooped his head all up, right? And then next your boy's in PC. So I delivered meals to all over the jail at that time, and then I goes down to, I go down to the area right there, because you got to serve people that are locked down or PC, whatever you're serving, every infirmary, whatever. I go in there and I see, I said, damn, face look like motherfucking, like he got boiled eggs under his skin. And shit is locked up all kinds of ways, right? So Pete, right? So he's like, yo, and I said, you all right? Dude was holding on to the ball. I said, man, what's up? He said, yo, check it out, though. Wait a minute. He says, I said, you all right? He says, yo, call my mother. I was like, dog, this is real true story. Because it's like, he realized this shit ain't no kid shit now. Yeah. Motherfucker, you gonna be, you know what I mean? Your mother can't save you anyway, but I mean, this is real. You know what I'm saying?
doesn't being in PC doesn't it defeat the purpose of being in PC if you let a Big Shug type character into PC and to give the guy you're trying to keep away from people like, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't it just defeat the whole purpose of the fucking thing? Because can't you just get at him right there?
You have to think of like how it was at that point. So I don't know how it really went to certain other prisons, whatever, but this particular place was basically like a holding type jail. Yeah. Like you going to using Child Street.
Yeah.
So everybody around everybody, so to speak. You know what I mean? It was a little different.
Someone had to have figured out at some point this isn't the best idea. Letting inmates that we're trying to keep this guy away from inmates, and we're letting inmates into his cell with metal.
But it was like at some point, if you can get out, you trying to get out. What I mean is, if you ain't got one of them 100-year sentences, or you got a couple of years, you trying to get out. So you kind of went along with certain programs, but except for that bullshit, there's never bullshit nowhere. So but
it's time for bullshit.
Also, you go from one end of the spectrum to also the man ASAP Rocky. I guess he got the Gucci sign in his hair, braided into the side of his head. People don't know. ASAP Rocky has a knack for making headlines with his fashion choices. Seeing him in stuff that's simulating like stomach cut off joint, mid-drift joint, and with leather skirt, kilt looking joints. So dudes push the envelope with their style.
I know him from impregnating Rihanna. I mean, I know who they were, but if you ask me who he was, I'm like, oh, that's Rihanna's baby daddy.
But he was the second. Well, I know that song, that hit he had was popular.
No, I know he's a big rapper. I just don't know the song or can't place him to the song. Is what I'm saying.
I only read the one was the main joint, but still, he kicks with billionaires. Before that, he was the Jenner girl, the Jenner billionaire girl. So he's like, he don't know nothing. He don't know nothing about billionaires. But
no, I know what they are.
He, like they say, he makes he pushes the envelope with his style. The Harlem rapper attended Gucci's Fall and Winter 2023 show during Milan Fashion Week on February 24, where he debuted his new look with the little Gucci joint up in his head. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I guess after being unveiled as one of the faces of the Italian luxury fashion house, new campaign for its Guilty fragrance line.
Oh, I like that.
That's him. He got his own fragrance line. Man, he's making bread on that side.
The Guilty.
The photos from the event showed the fashion killer hitmaker pointing to the G logo, S in the hair on his scalp. Well, usually if you're pointing to shit like that and you floss like that, he probably got some money in there. You know what I'm saying? So he's making money off it. So kudos to him. He's a good dude. He was up there rubbing shoulders with Salma Hayek and Gucci president and Marco Bizzarri while rocking wide-legged trousers and oversized pinstripe jacket paired with a crisp white shirt and classic back tie. The ASAP mob leader was unveiled was one of the faces of Gucci Guilty campaign on Wednesday, early in February, alongside Julia Gardner and Elliot Page. So I guess he's making that fashion mark. A lot of them into that, man. A lot of them into that because what else? Who's the other cat that's doing that fashion? You see Pusha T, into the fashion. Pharrell, you know what I mean? So dudes be wearing Gucci sleeping bags over their shoulders with cold hats.
The fashion now is crazy. I don't know if it's any crazier than 6X t-shirts and and size 52 waist jeans. I don't know if it's any crazier than that, but it looks kind of weird. I don't know. Like, at least, I don't know. We always make fun of what the kids wear now. Like, oh, they were looking at all these clothes. And then we go look at our photos and we're like, oh, man.
We were idiots.
What the hell?
I mean, people can say that, but I don't know. Because there's some people who dress wild, but some who didn't. But then, come on. them Astro boots.
Yeah.
Astro
I think
boots.
It's funny
certain
because
people can pull off anything if it looks on them
Yeah.
to be fashion. But if you look like a homeless person, then you look like a homeless person, and it's not fashion.
Well, rap kind of started
not-
with how they dress now is how like kind of like that's how rappers used to dress. So like when rap started with the, you know,
not them Astro boots. But go ahead.
no,
They got-
not those. Yeah.
I know they had the fur, they had the feathers, and some rappers dressed like the village people.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah.
it was mad.
But that was like the style then, so it's like can't hold this. When you want to look at bad
well-
style, look at the. I always use it as an example. Look at what people are wearing in White Men Can't Jump. It's it's bad. It's pretty bad. Like you go back and watch that movie, it's fucked up.
That's your
Yeah,
point of
I'm like
fact.
that's the '90s, early '90s, late '80s, early '90s styles wrapped up in a nutshell in that movie.
Well, is that the new White Man Can't
No,
Jump?
I haven't seen that new
I
one
want to
yet.
see the
but-
new one.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
you know
all
you
this
guys-
white man can jump stuff that I'm like hoping that white man can jump again.
Well, I don't know, like, man, the remaking
God,
of
don't.
every movie. Like, what was wrong with White Man Can't Jump? What happened? Why they need to remake that movie? Someone tell me.
So the young kids can learn the
Yeah, but they
message that white men can jump.
Yeah, but they learned it in that movie, and you got to
if
see
you're
Rosie
Latina,
Perez's.
You should give a white boy a chance.
And you got
Hey,
to see
but no.
Rosie Perez's titties in that
No.
movie. So,
But that's not even it.
Exactly.
What it really
I don't
is.
want to see him now.
Look,
If it's gonna be in
hey,
this
what
one.
like they really don't
You
have
don't
to
know what
make
they
the
look
other
like.
kids,
They could be
but
fabulous.
they really don't have to make the other movies because Charlie Brown's that shit been the same for years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the remakes is just out of control. It's like fuck. Man.
Listen,
It
we're gonna
depends.
complain about the remakes unless they're good.
No,
If
no.
they're good, we're gonna
No.
love it. But
Here's
if
the
not, we're
thing.
gonna complain about it.
Well, no, I think if it's the same crew, like I don't know, like when you do it, like it becomes like all the Rockies Sylvester Stallone was doing, all the.
That's not a
Jack-
remake. That's a reboot. Like they rebooted the franchise back to
well,
the
well, I
same
know.
people. You know what I'm saying?
So I might want to. What I'm saying is I might want to see that more. Whereas like how they went from like, Rocky training his son or training Apollo Creed,
Yeah.
his son, dude's son,
Michael B.
and stuff
Jordan.
like so. It morphed into that. Like I like to see that, but and sometimes they could be good. They could be good the remakes, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you one remake that is not a remake.
Uh-oh.
So Dwayne Wade, as former NBA player,
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade, on some fly shit, great player, man. His time of playing, won some championships.
He was in my first music video ever. Dwayne Wade.
Word.
Holler at him holding up my album. Yeah, he was in my first. It's random shit, but yeah.
Nah, it's
True
cool.
story.
Like that random. So he and he's married to Gabrielle Union, if those who don't know.
Yep.
But his daughter, Zaya Wade,
Yep.
is now legally a girl. As the judge overrules mother, I think her name is Sivon Funches. Now, here's the deal. If anyone doesn't know about the story, Dwayne Wade had two sons. He went through a tumultuous, like a divorce and situation of custody with his two sons prior, like way a few years back, because their mother was really like, just crazy, like some crazy shit. You could go and Google and document. It's documented, and he was able to obtain custody of his kids. You know what I'm saying? So kudos, on that. But then one of his kids, I think under 13 or something at the time, declared that he was gay, like he felt like a woman. So they supported.
That might be
Like,
two different things, but
Yeah. We got you.
got you. Identifies as a woman.
Yeah, he thinks he's a girl.
No, because at first he was like, I'm gay.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
that.
right.
I remember that. Yeah.
But then it's like, I guess I'm a woman. I don't, so here we are now. So this is how it morphed into that. You know what I mean? And now he's been ridiculed for it, and that kid don't know, and then y'all doing that, and they're in the light, and he's in the light. But I mean, it's decisions. I mean, the kid is that way, and they supported him and his wife, and I guess that's what matters, especially in today's world. You know what I mean? So, as it moves on, man, we know that a lot of things are different. Don't have to agree with it. It's tough. It's got to be tough on some, and some of that free flowing mentally, where they say, hey, this is nothing. You know what I mean? So, you know. And it's crazy because there will be jokes about it. Mind you, I saw a meme that a young man walks into the, it's a little skit. A young man walks into the house. It was girl he was coming to see. And there's a big ass flat screen TV on the wall. And he says to the woman, all you see is the bag. And she says, hey, oh, you watch basketball, the game's on? And she said, of course. He's taking his coat off. He's getting comfortable. And she said, of course. My father played in the NBA. He said, oh, for real? Who's your father? And she said, Dwayne Wade. And he goes, It goes to that song. Right? So I'm rolling because I'm like, those who know why it's just like, oh, and he froze, you know what I mean? But then you see it, that's just a comic thing. Me, my take on it personally, if your kid is like that, man, like, I mean, you're not gonna, to me, I don't believe you're gonna disconnect or disown your kid. You know, some would. You know, back in the day, they used to try to beat that shit out of people, send them away to camps and shit and all that. It was crazy back in the day with that. But today, if they accepted it, if it's your kid, I mean, so be it. You know, they gotta be who they are. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Can't be that easy, but yeah, it is what it is.
I don't know. I'm all about people being who they want to be, but don't expect everybody else to see you and know you should be called this or know you should be called that. Like, that's where I kind of get annoyed with the whole thing. It's just like,
yeah, I think everybody should be who they want to be, as long as you don't impede on somebody else's right to be who they want.
Yeah, as long as you don't impede on anyone else. Right?
do you remember? Do you remember who Rachel Dolezal was or whatever?
Who?
Rachel Dolezal, I believe her name was. She was the white lady who pretended she was black and was like a professor in African studies at a university.
She had adopted.
Do you remember this by any chance?
I didn't peep that, man.
This is a couple years back, but I was just wondering your take on that. Like, someone who a white person who identifies as being black, is that the same thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if someone walked up to you and was like, you knew was white, if DJ Drama, your homie DJ Drama, our homie, was like, hey, Big Shug, I'm black. Like, I'm black. Like, and is it the same thing? Is it the, you know what I'm saying?
Well, if he is, but not really, because just like they'll say these days of that, it's another issue, but they'll say about gay people go through the same stuff like slaves did, or like black people. You know what I mean? So to me, there's a lot of stuff you could go and read about that. Yeah, sure, a lot has happened.
Yeah.
But I don't equate that to being like slaves or black people, but some people do. So, you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, you know.
No, I'm not. Like I said, everyone be themselves. But I don't know. My whole thing was, how are you supposed to just assume that people are supposed to? You're assuming that we're supposed to assume that you're something else. I don't know. Like, it just kind of blows my mind how people get upset about it. Like, if
all you gotta know is if someone is at the urinal or something and they dress fully like a woman, like, it's stuff like that you don't know.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. So
it's like in this world that we're in now.
Unisex.
So my whole point,
Yeah,
I did say a long thing about it, but basically boiled down like this: don't get offended if someone calls you a woman if you look like a woman. Like, it's not, they're not maliciously trying to attack you and your right to do this or that. They just think you might be a woman, or, you know, that just is what it is. So
it's like when you accidentally ask a woman if she's pregnant, but she's not, because she looks pregnant.
people ask me if I'm pregnant all the time.
Sure, well,
it's like that. It's like that. So it's maybe it's the don't ask.
All right. So what else we got, Big Shug? What else you got over there?
all I got is, you know, well, actually, I'm pretty good on that, man. Sports-wise, real quick, I just want to be able to give a shout out to the Celtics who are playing extremely well, you know, and Jason Tatum and the rest of the crew, but he's been leading the way. Also, I'd like to give shout out to the Bruins as well, coming from Boston, and that's my team as well, and they're just on fire right now. So, you know, that's just on the sports note.
On sports, I also had Kevin Durant, I think his first game for the Phoenix Suns is tonight.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because he had been out for some weeks with the knee, and now he's on the Phoenix Suns, where people think it could be a power team. But we have to see how that comes together. You know what I mean? Also, being from Boston, the Red Sox, people are frowning on them because they feel like they're making goofball decisions. So we're going to see what this is going to be like. I guess there's still a couple things going on. It's used to be a big fanfare in Boston, but now it's not as much as like right now, spring training.
Yeah.
You know, they go to Florida and they, you know, that's what the time is. Used to be all you heard about around here, but it's not like that no more. So I guess we have to get that back. I mean,
yeah, sometimes like, you know, they did break their 86-year curse and you know, that did, you know, it was, you know, for the fans of the Boston Red Sox, I'm not one of them, but the fans, it was great. But then it's like, you know, you lost that push, like you were that push trying to get there, you know. Like how happy will Knicks fans be if in 400 years when the Knicks win the next title?
Ouch. He said it
happy
in 400 years. Not even in my lifetime. Ouch.
When the time comes for New York to win, right, it's going to be like Cleveland. Remember, like no one thought Cleveland would win no championship. You know what I mean? The basketball team. So it's like
the Knicks haven't won in my lifetime.
Huh?
The Knicks haven't won an NBA title in my lifetime. I'm 42 years old.
I know they have in mine. In mine they had, but those are the days with Frazier and Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Yeah. They had a couple chances with the you know, with the Starks Ewing era, and then with the Houston era. They had a couple chances, like, but they didn't. They couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
But who was on the other side? Who was on the other side?
One time, it was on the years I'm talking about. He wasn't on those sides because those were the years he was gone, and it was Hakeem Olajuwon that was on that other side. But
if like people don't know that Michael Jordan came in the league in 1984, I believe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So obviously he didn't win any championships in the 90s. You know, but
in the 80s
he was on his way. I mean, in the 80s. I'm sorry, he didn't win any. And I think that was the same year Olajuwon was drafted as well.
I don't think so. No,
they're right around the same time. Could have been the year before. But I
think it was David Robinson, and then he stayed in the Navy and finished 2 seasons in the Navy, and then because when he was drafted, his stipulations was, I'm going to finish school at what is it, Annapolis, where they go? I'm gonna finish school and then I'll play. Like, you can draft me now, but I'm not playing for 2 years. And that's what they did to San Antonio Spurs. So it might have been him, but I for some reason I feel like Hakeem Olajuwon was a little bit younger. But you might be right. You're probably right.
No, he's not. You know, Chesney, you know me being the youngest of the crew, so you know I kind of might know that.
He's the baby, so he knows everything.
But you got something else over there? Because all I got is.
Okay, I just wanted to say, Quavo released a new song, and in the song, you know, he takes shots at Offset, but they're not diss shots. They're basically like, hey man, we did something no one's ever done, no one probably ever will. We were the greatest group in the world, but we were the glue to us was Takeoff, and he's gone. So if there's no Takeoff, there's no us. But we were great. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I mean, you know, anybody that has well, rest in peace to Takeoff, and I commend the movement. But anybody who's been living under a rock or whatever, and I don't dwell on it that much because everybody else does, but as we know, there's shots being thrown all over the place from White, Jay Prince, you know what I mean? And it's so crazy because I'm not really into just the visualness of all of that stuff. You know what I mean? I just know that, like, I think, like, as we pay attention and stay tuned, I think a lot of things are a lot more going to get a lot more serious than what they are right now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm leaving it there, but you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to.
I agree with you 100% on that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it.
And it probably won't be the names we've mentioned, but they're underlings and underlings getting into something. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah, it's definitely going to do something, man. Trust me, I'll tell you. It's too much of a bigger situation right now. Yeah, don't worry about it.
It looks mad bright where you at.
I think he's on the West Coast. The sun's still up.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm on the West. Yeah, I'm on the West.
We are here, the Danger Zone podcast, number 58, with Big Suge, Chef Tanya Nicole, Mr. DL, and our special guest today, SuperNatural. What's going on, everybody?
I mean, we good. We good. It just seems mad weird, but it's cool. Yeah.
He's affected.
I'm talking to you. Yeah, it's mad different. I don't get it. That's good, man. Listen, so MC SuperNatural, man, what's good with you? We're glad to have you here. First and foremost, I would like you to just give the people a backstory so they know who you are, man, and where you're coming from, and why you matter, this hip hop thing and everything else,
Well, to start off, for people that know me and the ones that don't know me, my name is MC SuperNatural. Came in the game in the early 90s. Was one of the greatest freestylers in the game. That was my title that was given to me by the people, the people's champ. And I've been doing this then, been around the world. That's how I met Big Suge and met everybody along the way, It's been an interesting path, it's been an interesting path for me. And even to still be using the vehicle of hip hop to feed my family is a feat in itself. This is a very tough time. You got to be brave to be an artist in these times. So
Oh yes.
That's me. I'm a SuperNat freestyler, but not only that, an artist all around. I do a little bit of everything.
So, as when did you actually did you just jump on the scene as a solo artist, or was there sometimes dudes meet people and crews and things like that? Is there somebody you influenced by or worked with in the early times?
Well, before I came to New York, I was in Indiana. I was born in Indiana. Around the age of about 18, I left there and came out to NYC. I was living, and I met with a group of cats. It's a local rap group, and we had a group called the Alien Nation, and called Nation of the Lost Tribe at first. And the guy that was the leader of the group, he changed it later on. But that was my initial little crew that I ran around with. But I was already rhyming when I met them, and the way that I actually got into quote unquote the game was I was in a battle called the New Music Seminar, the Battle of Supremacy. And this battle was thrown by DJ Clark Kent, Superman Clark Kent.
Shout out to Clark Kent, yeah.
Yeah, so Clark threw this battle, and I entered the battle as an alternate, and I ended up the whole thing. The one dude didn't show up that day, so I guess it was destiny. It was meant for me to be there that day. So the cat didn't show up. I ended up getting in the battle, and it went down to the very last two, which was me and Mad Skills. Shout out to Mad Skills.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Mad Skills.
It was me and Mad Skills in the final round, and I won. I won the battle, and from there, I got signed to Elektra Records under the tutelage of Sylvia Rome.
Yeah.
And, and that was the time my label mates was people like Busta Rhymes, Mob, Yo-Yo, Pete Rock, and CL, Don X. What was crazy is that label was a hell of a label. She doesn't always get the same, big ups like a lot of the moguls in the game, but she broke a lot of acts in the 90s, and so that was my entrance into hip hop, in what I would call the mainstream at that moment in hip hop. And then I even went on to have my own radio show in New York, and I didn't even realize back then how I was foreseeing something in the future. This was before the podcast. This was before they actually had people come on the radio and sit in the studio and get interviewed,
Right.
And oh my goodness, sometimes I reflect, I'm like, damn, if I had a camera back there, somebody filming that every time, because Biggie came in there, Craig Mack, Cuban Links, so that was really my, to get a little bit deeper, I guess, that would be my ultimate entrance into this hip world.
You said it was Elektra Records. You were breaking up that one spot. It was Elektra, right?
Yeah, I was on
okay.
Elektra.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Suge. My bad.
And that was a fun time to be around all it. I was there the first night Busta Rhymes ever performed Who Ha Got You All in Check.
Oh shit.
Like it hadn't even hit the radio yet. So we were at a sound stage for Sony Music, and they invited out all the execs, all the people that was going to play the record on the radio, and all of us had to get up and do our shit. And I remember Busta Rhymes came out, and he came out to the original record first, like the record that they sampled. He walked on the stage.
Oh, that's dope.
And I remember he was sitting there all kind of like, what is he doing? And he walked out and real swaggy, and he was like, yo, listen to my shit. Y'all hear shit? And then he stopped, walked back. Then he said, nah, y'all ain't fucking hype enough. And he walked back, and then he came out, and as soon as he said the second bar of the hook, I looked at my homie. I said, "Yo, this nigga's out of here."
Yep. Did you see? Did you see he performed at Carnegie Hall last night with a live orchestra? Yeah.
Which I can imagine epic. He's one of my favorite when it comes to just being an animated person and being yourself on the mic. But yeah, like
he's my favorite all time.
Yeah, it was dope just being on the same label with him at the time and watching it grow. So, that was my ultimate entrance into this rap shit.
That's cool.
And it's been a roller coaster ride ever since, but I'm still here and I love the ride, Hell yeah.
It's crazy too, because like I can relate to those situations where like I was on a label at one time, EMI, and it was it was me, a group called Shades, D'Angelo, Vanilla Ice, what's the other group, Arrested Development. So everybody's on there, you know what I'm saying? Of course, the biggest acts at the time was Vanilla Ice and Arrested Development, which flopped. But there were so many of us in the wings, like, you know what I mean? Me even basically telling A&Rs and shit like, yo, man, that shit ran its course, but we waited our time, and as you see, Cass went on to do other things. D'Angelo was a great commercial success. That's why his first album, D'Angelo's first album, he was sitting down playing the piano, smoking cigarettes, whatever, because it was old music to him. It wasn't brand new. The second one was really him, his second album. Yeah. That first one we heard in those videos, he just wanted to be done with it. You know what I mean? So, but where'd you get this name, MC? SuperNatural.
From comic books. Yeah. So the whole thing with me was, when I was a kid, I used to read comics. I still read a lot of comics to this day. But when I got in the game, there was a combination of two things that gave me the name. So the natural part came from a movie, actually. And it was a movie with this cat named Robert Redford. I'm quite sure you know him.
Yeah.
And,
it's a good movie.
Yeah, it was Field of Dreams. And he played a baseball player, and he had a lightning bolt on his bat. I wear a lightning bolt on my right hand. And so he called himself the Natural in the movie. That was his name on the field, because he was so nice with the bat. And so he called himself the Natural. So when I got ready to come to New York, I said I had that type of name, because I had a bunch of corny names before that.
Right.
Just, those old school type names. So when I got to New York, I took on the name Natural, and then kind of studying the lessons and being around the gods, that became my name. But when I got the seminar, I've been reading like the Secret Wars and New Mutants right around there. And so when I got in the battle and I signed up on the flyer, me and my homies was in the back, and they was like, yo, you get ready to get SuperNatural on these niggas today. You gotta get SuperNatural on them. And I just and I wrote that down as my name, as you know, and it entered into the kind of SuperNatural. And so at first I was kind of a big name, you know, like a small, but lo and behold, when I won the battle, you know, the whole day they just kept saying, you know, MC SuperNatural, right. And that solidified it. I was locked in the minds of the people with that name, so I just always kept it, you know. Plus, I kind of consider myself like a mutant in this rap shit, you know, right. like I can transform into different characters, you know. There's a lot of depth to what I do. I'm actually trying to get myself to Broadway to do this whole vision that I have in my head, you know, how I want this freestyle thing. But yeah, so that's how the name came.
I mean, for me, you know, knowing who you are and you know, even like in the Smoking Groove days and stuff, as I spoke to you before off air and previously with thing that to me was like part of the talent of being an MC, you know, was the fact that you were able to emulate, you know, other rappers, you know, as far as rhyming though, which is hard to do because if you could emulate a rapper or basically do an imitation or whatever, then someone might want you, the way the game is, to rhyme like that. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, if you rhyme like this, you could be, but to me, the talent was in the fact that you could do it. You know what I mean? I just thought it was so dope. Explain how you came into that, you know, as far as, you know, the imitating, you know, other rappers, you know, in their style, whatever, you know?
That has like deep origins right there. So when I first started rapping, I stated before I was rapping before I even got to New York. And I listened to everything back there. Anything that I could get my hand on was all things hip hop in my life, right? And I took kind of like listening to a lot of Public Enemy and the Beastie Boys and Chuck D and the Beastie Boys, those type of dudes, they had very unique voices. So just as, you know, fun, you know, we'd be hanging out with the homies, I would imitate them and they would laugh. It would be more like a joke thing, you know, like, and I would look at me and I'm gonna turn around and I'll turn into Chuck D, you know, and start rapping like, right. And the homies would die laughing, like, yo, he sound like him, you know, and I kept doing that as a joke. But then I got booked for my first really big tour in England. And I was, you know, me being a freestyle MC, I didn't have a lot of hit records. So I was like, you got to put together a show now. You just can't go out there and just freestyle and stand in one place for 45 minutes. So I said, okay, I got to break this up and make this into something. So what I would do is I would come out and my first 1 minute or 2 minutes of the show would be me introducing myself, freestyle, to kind of let them know I was rhyming off the head. Then after that, I might do a freestyle song, you know, just make a song up on stage. And then I was like, gotta have something that really wows them and takes it to the next level, you know, to build up. You gotta have a beginning and an ending. So I thought about how DJs at a certain part of when they would cut it up and, you know, play all of the latest hits, you know, like, you know, Primo does that. He'll kill it, you know, for like 30, 40 minutes and he's playing all of the bangers back to back and then, you know, you finish the show. My idea was, you can imitate rappers, then why don't you have the DJ play one record you rap to, then every time you turn around, you transform, you come back as another rapper. That'd be ill. And so that's how that came to be. So I would use one record to rap to, and oddly enough, it was Boom, the record Boom by Primo. I would always use that record on stage. The one with Royce the 5'9". Right. I would always use that as my rap, the rhyming record, and then all the other records, it would be Slick Rick, Biggie, DMX. And so every time I go, I'd flip my style, metamorph, watch me change my file. And then I'd say, be the next MC, and I would come out as whoever. The crowd would always go nuts because it's kind of shocking. You turn around and sound just like Biggie, and you're rhyming over the juicy instrument.
Yeah.
So it was a way to pay him and a way to keep the show fresh. That it's still that's still today when I do that. I tried to kick the routine off, like I didn't want to do it. And I went to a show one night and I didn't do it. And people came up to me and was like, "You didn't do the 3 MCs, the Transform show. You didn't do it. What happened?" And so I kept it in the repertoire.
So there's a lot of people that do impersonations of rappers, but you're the only one that really does it and raps. Like Jay Farrow does like a Jay-Z, Ari Spears did, but they never rap. They just talk like these people. They talk like certain rappers. But you're actually able to rhyme like it. It's kind of crazy, Yeah,
that's the difference. That's the difference. And from me seeing it firsthand, when I saw it, like back, obviously early 90s, whatever, or actually mid 90s when I first seen you do it. You know what I'm saying? You still got it though?
Yeah, I can still do it. I still spit like Big. When we do it like that, you understand that I'm busting the track. It's all right now with my nigga Big Son. I told you we could rap it. The style is all hood. Of course, I can always do it. It's all about the way you switch up.
Nah, that was the big.
What's your favorite to emulate when you go up on stage and you do a different rapper? Who's your favorite to like emulate?
Biggie, because when I do big, it's like I knew him personally. I met Biggie before the whole hype, before the fame. We happened to be in the same neighborhood, and I knew him as Fat Chris.
Oh shit!
And then my Biggie story is ill because I have a manager that lived on Lefferts in St. James, and his name was Al T. McLaren. We called him Tugger, and I used to live there, and I would go to the store right there in Fulton, and every time I'd been in that corner, the whole Junior Mafia would be on the block. But this is before I'm knowing who they are. Yeah, this real hood shit. They out there every day hustling. There was a little fish spot across the street we used to go get fish sandwiches from. And Big was on the block by himself one night, and it was just a random night, and I stopped and I talked to him. We smoked a L. We drank a little Henny together, but we was just talking. We was dreaming, too young, dreaming. And then like a year from that day that me and him was having that moment, he dropped Party and Bullshit. I got signed to Elektra. So when I do big, it's kind of a personal thing to always rep. And I can make him say shit from like I always look at it like he's almost transmitting through me. It's like a spiritual thing too. Like I connect. Even like with X, I started putting DMX in the show now, and it can always expand because if you have a very distinctive voice, and I listen to the record over and over again, I can pretty much catch your voice,
Were you friends with DMX?
Man, my DMX story is unbelievable.
Gotta hear it. Man. Let's hear it.
Okay, so check this. So when I was doing Rock the Bells, I was the host of Rock the Bells, for almost 11 years, right? And we would do when we would do the show, we would also usually do an announcement, and I would freestyle the artists that were going to be on the show. Yeah. So we did that. We came to New York, and that was the year they had Dipset. They had Eric Sermon. They had Jada Deluxe. The bill was jam packed with all of the illest cats. And so I did the freestyle for the announcements, but X wasn't there. So then later on, I came back and I did a little show. It was just a little bit because it was like a press conference. Yeah. And I got on the mic and I was killing it. I was having one of my SuperNatural runs that day, and people was loving it. And so, lo and behold, out the side of my eye, I see Earl Simmons standing to the side of the stage, and he's in awe. He's literally watching me like. And most of the cats that was there, they're familiar with my handiwork, so they rocking. Yeah. But he's seeing it first time, obviously.
Yeah.
So he grabs the mic from me, and he's like, "Yo, give me a mic." And he's like, "Yo, did y'all niggas see what the fuck this nigga was just doing? Yo, he was grabbing shit out. Yo, this nigga's crazy." And he's having a whole moment on fucking stage, and I'm just standing there, kind of like, "Wow, okay." So then we go backstage, and me and him start talking. He's like, "Yo, you a nigga, like, you know, I'm one of the greatest at this shit." And he said, like, well, what you just did up there, that shit is like, yo, you know, your mind is different. And I was like, yeah, well, what I'm talking to him. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, you know, I do beats too. So I'm like, man, hit him with some beats, man, you know, and maybe you get a couple of beats, hit a few joints. Yeah. So I give him my number. And I say, yo, call me, you know, if you ever want some beats or whatever, maybe we could work together or something. He's like, yo, I'm gonna hit you up. Yeah, I got you. A lot of people say that, they never hit you. So about a year goes by, right? And I'm at my house out here in LA, and I'm having this whole moment where I'm like, damn, man, I need to get a couple of gigs. Like, you know, one of those moments, shit is tight. And out of nowhere, I get a phone call, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, yo, Nate. I said, who? He said, Nate, Super Nate. I said, nah, man, SuperNatural. He said, yo, man, this is, you know what the fuck I'm in. This is X, nigga, what's up? And I'm like, yo, wow, this is the man. He called me. And so this is real true shit. So he called me and goes, yo, hey, and he's a piece of shit. Show up. He was like, can you hold me down? I'm like, so I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, yo, this will be a story one day. You know, in my head, as soon as he said it, so I said, yeah, I'll do it. And so I grabbed my little DJ controller that I had at the time in my laptop, and my man came and picked me up, and we drove downtown to downtown LA. And we got to the hotel. His tour manager comes down and picks us up, and we go upstairs. Now, this is just, it's like a bizarre thing. Even my homie is with me. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, you rap? I'm like, yeah, but this is a once in a lifetime chance just to hang out with this nigga, but this will be a story. So we get upstairs, and he's like, yo, Nate, what's good? You ready? You scared, nigga? Like, you know? He's joking with me and all that. So he gives me a thumb drive, and it had Get At Me, Dog, Where the Hood At, Y'all Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind, and there was one more. I can't remember the other joint that was on there, but it was 4 songs. So we did this thing called the Red Bull Culture Clash, and you can find it online if you go around and you dig a little bit. You can find it. It's called the Red Bull Culture Clash. So it's like a 4-way sound clash. You know, you got speakers on each side of the space, and these people play music. George Clinton was there that night. It was a crazy night. And so I get on stage with X, and, you know, it's like, yeah, it was Shut 'Em Down, Open Up Shop. That was on there too. So I get him, and he looks back and he's like, yo, Nate, hit that shit. You know, and I drop it. And I'm behind the decks, and like a couple of people that are like real DJs that were there that knows me as an MC, they was standing on the side of the stage just looking perplexed. Like, how was he up here DJing for DMX? But I ran through all 4 songs, and it was a night. I played all 4 joints. I was hitting the drops and all that.
Oh, shit.
With them, you know.
Nice.
But it was super nervous. I was super nervous. I had never DJed for another MC in my life, you know, and so that was just like a moment that
the first one's one of the biggest ever. It's crazy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's a moment to cherish, because even after that, we went back to the room, we hung out, and when I got ready to leave, you know, that night, you know, he was like, yo, Nate, come in the hallway. Come out. So I went in the hallway, yo, and he gave me a pound, and he's like, hold that, my nigga. He said, you know, you work, you eat. You understand? You work, you eat. And I looked, and he gave me 4 racks.
Nice.
And I was like, well, I said, yo, man, you didn't have to do that. And he said, hey, man, never look a blessing in the mouth. And you know, he said, always count your blessings. He said, did that to bless you. He said, and stay on point. He said, because I might call you again. You know, he said, you fucked up a little bit a couple times, but it's all right.
One of the most incredible things I ever saw was recently his funeral procession through New York City. Do you remember watching that? Just thousands and thousands of motorcycles following a monster truck with a casket on it. It might be one of the most like memorable scenes in hip hop to me that I've ever seen. Just it was crazy.
So, I heard you. But it was a dope.
It's crazy because as you speak, and obviously we lived through that time. So obviously I had a lot of friendships and a lot of stories with the same people. Like you was touching when you said about Biggie and them at the corner, because Premier and them lived up the street. You know what I mean? From that same corner, they was up the street. So we had to go to that little bodega on the corner, getting them sandwiches and shit. And actually you could get everything from there. You can get the sandwiches, chicken cutlets, whatever. You can get the beer, you get the weed from that same spot that was right across the street.
They were doing it right.
On blast. You guys are on blast.
Oh yeah. Get that.
It's crazy. Huh?
I said we New York at that time was ill. We had dispensaries before there was dispensaries.
No question. Hey, I went with Google one time real quick, and so we pulling up to the bodega at some part of town, and it's mad cops out front. I said, yo, we going in there to get this weed? Like, it's mad cops out here. He was like, we go in there, we get about 10 bags. They had a little tray bags, and they push them out from behind or whatever, right? And so we got 10 of them shits, and we walk out. The cops still reading the paper. So I said, oh, I see what this is. You know what I mean? So, fuck it, those are the one-stop cop shops. That's what those was, basically. You know what I mean? You get everything right the fuck there. You know what I mean? So, but listen, when I met you, though, like I said, you was rocking. You had your son with you, too. What's the name?
Haji.
Shout out to him. When we used to pull up on Smoking Groove's tour, we used to set up a basketball hoop, and then it's like me and Biggest Gore and a couple other cats, HL sometimes. We would play against, like other niggas bouncers or something, or we'd be running 3-on-3 or whatever. And I remember you came to this specific joint, and we was all there, and we was backstage, kind of like in the parking lot, though. And your son was, he was talking a lot of trash too, but he was like playing ball. We was laughing about it because we was like, yo, this little kid's funny. But then when he was playing Preem, dribbling and shit, and he was chunky too. And we was like, yo, watch, he about to break. We like, yo, we about to break Preem's ankles, right? Because Preem ain't no basketball player, but the little kid had a little something to him. But I mean, it's even moments as simple as that I don't forget, whether I saw you or not, because it was just part of that Smoking Grooves tour. That dudes in my crew would be like, yo, remember that little kid that was playing ball against so-and-so, and be like, yo, that was nice kid, like, you know what I mean? So it is so much, and some of these stories are so like real, it brings you right back to them spots, you know what I mean? How's he doing though?
32 years old now. I told him about that the other day. He didn't remember first, and then I had to jog his memory a little bit. And when I finally got him where he remembered, he started cracking up. I said, yo, you was talking mad shit that day back then.
Like he was nice. He was a young nigga, he was like, I'm nice and blah. I was like, yo, this dude's mad funny. And we said, I'm like, I was a funny dude, like, making my little jokes and shit. I'm like, yo, you got some rhymes? I know me. I'm like, yo, even with this kid, he was kind of slick, but
he can rap. Rapping back then. He can rap. He was rapping back then too.
Oh yeah, he blew out a couple. Yeah, he blew a couple. I remember, dude. Trust me. Like when you said that you were Biggie and Craig Mack, knowing them and all, and pulling up. I mean, my first tour I ever went on was with EPMD. Shout out to EPMD. When Redman first came out and Das Effects was ascending to blow up. I was on that tour and K Solo, right? So that's my first shit. But dudes carrying luggage and all that, Craig Mack was one of them. You know what I mean? And that's how I met him. He was a roadie for them. So we used to freestyle and battle like all the time. Like Redman, every show. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, he got with Puffy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody would say like, Puffy, man, he did the crazy shit. He blew up with 2 of the ugliest rappers around. But I mean, that was some fly shit on his level. Rest in peace. Those are my dudes. But I mean, it's so funny to watch Craig Mack go from just being like carrying shit like that. And then, like, you know, I was like, oh shit, this dude's full blown. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy how, and it's like mysterious how things work sometimes, you know?
Yo, Puff, believe it or not, at that New Music Star, Puffy was one of the judges.
At the what?
In the battle that I won, when I won the battle in New York, Puffy, he was one of the judges there.
Did he ask you if you could dance?
Nah, because back then I didn't even talk to him that day. He was just on the panel. One of the judges was like Tracy Waples from Def Jam.
Yeah.
Pete, and there was a couple of record. Oh, Sheena Lester from Rap Pages.
Right.
It was like a record exec that was there that day. But I do remember Diddy. That was when he first started. And here's one of the things, man. I wish I had kept this because it was one of the most collectible pieces in hip hop. I had the Big Mac. He was walking around that day, passing out. He only had so many of them. He was passing out they was Big Mac cartons,
I remember those. Yeah.
Logo on them, and they had the cassette inside between 2 buns. They had real buns in there. Of course, everybody was throwing the buns away, but still, yeah. And it was some ill shit. And he was walking around the seminar, passing those shits out, and I had one. I wish I had one, and I still got I got a lot of memorabilia that I'm gonna break out here and later on.
It's crazy.
I kept a lot of it.
It's crazy you say that too, because the creativity that everybody was trying to one up somebody, like, you know, with the promotions and shit, you know, at those times, because I had a single I called Crush, and when I get to the label, you know, they tell me what the promo shit was, whatever. When I get to the label, these motherfuckers got cases. First of all, I see one bottle like Crush soda, but like the album, I'm thinking like, you know, orange soda Crush. I'm like, oh, that shit's dope. They got a couple of bottles. Then I go into the, you know, the company itself, the offices, they got cases of these Big Sugar Crush, Orange Crush, and I was like, wow, this shit. So that's when I started seeing like motherfuckers would get creative, they was passing them shits out.
Another one that was dope too. There was a creative one that was really dope, and I had it, and it just got old. The plastic, I kept it for a long time.
The who?
But it was
you blinked out.
It was a bar of black soap, and it had J. Rue the Damage's face on it, and the sticker said "Come Clean." Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bar of black soap, little round bar of black soap.
Yo, you listen. Anybody tell you when it came to my clique and a lot of people we met and all that, like, you know, I was always the roast master. So you know how I was getting them when I see that black soap. So we had some times of just laughing, you know. Hey, real quick too though, right? J. Rue, my man, love all day, 100%. But yo, we was on tour, and speaking of shit, and they had a book with like the 10 ugliest MCs, right? Like they, you know, some crazy ass shit. Yo, this shit was crazy as shit. So you got Biz Markie in there, rest in peace. You got Biggie. And then we fucked them up because they had J. Rue in that motherfucker. He was like, oh, and I'm already the roast dude. I'm roasting. This is my man, all tour. I'm like, look, they're saying that right here. And this shit was fucked up. Now,
my God.
Hey, you know how dudes were. So around that time, you still could reach out and touch somebody. You know what I mean? So he's like, yo, when I see the artist, whoever wrote this shit, I'm fucking him up. Yeah, he just went off, right? But to see this shit was some hilarious shit. Well, we laughed about that now and all that, but man, that shit was like crazy. I had my man in there. I said, yo, even they think that shit, right? I'm like, yo, a book, you know? And you know that shit is somewhere. Hopefully you don't run into that book. But
hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to turn some light on.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, yeah, okay. Nah, that's cool.
Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. You're watching the Danger Zone podcast with the freshly shaven Big Shug, Mr.
Yeah, no
DL.
question. I always get a fresh beard every year because, like, you know, sometimes it just gets a little scraggly, whatever. So I just refreshing it. So by summer, I'll be full blasted.
Nice.
And yeah, hit that button. You know, follow us on Instagrams, Facebooks. You got a new album. Tell them, DL, you got that, huh?
Yeah, I got the new album I just produced for Make 'Em Pay, myself, and Hectic. It's called Primitive. We got Big Suge on there. Cortez is on there. So make sure you guys go check that out. And
you got
what you say?
I mean, you make beats, of course. You're a producer.
Yeah, I'm a producer. I would say I'm more known in hip hop for videos, probably. But I've produced some really big artists from like Griselda to, you know, everybody, like Cypress Hill, all that shit.
Being modest, he being real modest right now.
Yes, he is being modest. And Big Sugar already here. He a producer, director.
It's about you right now, SuperNatural. It's about you.
Photographer.
Hey,
all of this.
Look, I just finished an incredible album, and I really need a video director that has vision.
That's me right here. You found it.
And not only that, my documentary, I've always wanted to do this. I've been the king of freestyle. I birthed a lot of shit with this freestyle thing. And I've always wanted to tell my story from a true perspective. There's a lot of myths and there's a lot of lies. And, you know, a documentary can always set that straight. And if you do it right, for me, it would only be, you know, a good look for hip hop, because my story involves so much of hip hop that helped me grow. And that's part of telling the story. Even being here with Big Suge right now, like I told my uncle the other day, I said, yeah, I got my uncle on a podcast with Big Suge. He's like, he's a Big Suge, Big. I said, yeah, Big Suge. You know, that's my buddy. You know, that's my friend. You know, we've been friends for years.
No question.
Yeah,
you know that
documentary would be good. I did Cypress Hill's first documentary. Not the most recent, but the first one. I did that one.
And you did the one on HBO.
I did HBO, but that wasn't my documentary. I just worked on that documentary.
Footage,
So yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what. Mr. DL has a lot of videos, numerous amount of videos, beats, and albums, and he's also got a new documentary coming out, and it's called Out of Control. Now,
if you didn't get it.
And what it's about is a bunch of trolls, like people on different troll levels, like they meet up in a house and they live together. And see, I'm fucking with you, but nah, he got,
I thought you were talking about like a documentary on internet trolls. I thought that, I was like,
that's where he was going. That's where he was going.
Hey, I kind of was. And hey, yo, the funny thing about it is,
I was like,
that's what I'm saying. Me and Jess, you know, I'm being funny about it, but I know that shit is like can be a real thing. Yeah. And like, and who better than to do it? My friend.
They start trolling each other.
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Straight. Hey, yo, that's like when motherfuckers say, I'm not a troll, but that motherfucker, he's a troll. I'm like, yo, and then it's out of control. You know what I'm saying? It is what it, you know. But anyway, but reach out, man. Reach out for real. Like,
yeah, definitely.
He did a lot of videos for me, man. So, and I just see a lot of shit he's done. You know what I'm saying? You know, and he has a little camera woman with him there. She works sometimes on this.
I'm an assistant producer, a location scout, a script supervisor.
Hold on. Talk, sis.
Makeup.
Hey yo.
Bring it.
When I first met her,
and I take attendance.
When I first met them together, like, so I went and did a few videos for DL, like with DL. So I'm like, cool. Then one time I went and I just kept like hearing this woman's voice. Right? I'm like, yo, this video shoot is a little different. And then I noticed he was like, yo, can you hold that? She was like, yo, that. And she was saying a little shit. I was like, oh. So you kind of slid in there. It's like no one ever said, yo, hey, this is Tanya Nicole, whatever. It's just all of a sudden, it's Tanya. And you were working, right? And I'm like, okay, all right. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta put him to work.
What? You gotta make him better.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, yo.
It's all about that light. She's the perfect height for the light. She hits it bang.
But listen, hey, Nat, yo, I got one thing to ask. We usually ask MCs. Can you please give us a list of your 10 favorite MCs?
Okay, this is first. People always ask me top 5, but
yeah.
And we want you to rhyme like all of.
No.
Okay, no, that'd be dope as hell.
This is no particular order. Rakim, KRS-One.
Yeah.
Pharoah Monch.
Oh wow. The second time.
Jada Kiss.
Nice.
Black Thought.
Nice.
This is a curve from the West Coast, but Micah 9 from Freestyle Fellowship.
Yeah.
I'm always
That's a good one. That's a first, but that's I know those guys. Oh, yeah.
my very talented is Slick Rick. I can't forget Slick Rick because he taught me a lot. As far up a rhyme and giving it visual content out of just lyrical content.
Yeah, he was
perfect. Chuck D.
There goes another one.
And last but not least, I would have to say Redman.
Yeah. Hell
Redman?
Yeah, he's on mine too, definitely. Redman.
Is that
10?
So,
yeah.
I thought it was 9, but I think if he said it was 10,
No,
it was 10. Yeah.
That was 10.
Hell yeah.
Okay, listen. So, you told us your 10 favorite MCs. That was cool. But we're going to ask you something that we usually don't ask people to do. Can you give us 5 producers too?
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow. Absolutely.
Well, you only need 4 because you're probably going to say me. So.
You, Jay Dilla, Pete Rock, Premier, E.B.
Hell yeah.
And Knots.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we was gonna have Knots on. We requested Knots to be on the podcast, but then he said his phone wasn't on. So then I hope now that Knots, you got your phone back on, that you give us a shout. But yo,
you're listening to the Danger Zone.
Hey,
I watched him do some shit one night at a thing called Beat Society. And that's when I became a fan of him and kind of started following him. Because I was learning how to get my chops on the machine at that time. I'm pretty nice, I must say. I stepped my game up. But he did some shit with the Coming to America. The dude comes out and he sings, "You're my queen to be."
Oh, yeah.
And I remember the way he chopped this shit up, and that piece of that movie was some of the most incredible shit I ever seen. And I followed him even up to now, and he has like on his Instagram is off the charts with the he puts.
It's crazy too, cause like all bush to the side. When you came on with the headgear, that's why I was thinking of Coming to America. I was like, damn, you gonna learn this.
It's the job. Bro, it's the Royal Guard.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, I'm still like, yo, and then you was like breaking out to sing the Queen shit. I was like, oh man, hold up. Yo,
no, not your shit, man.
Yo, hey, when I met you though, you had dreads though. Did you cut them?
No, my shit is like down to my waist.
Oh, word?
Yeah, my hair is crazy long. It's all just compacted inside of here.
When he takes his hat off, it's like movie theater like. It's like all beautiful and long.
Yeah. We wear this as a sign of royalty. And
it looks like a crown. It is very pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know what the term is for a man. I can't say pretty, I guess. It looks good.
We call it, it's a turban. So, it's like part of the Rastafari movement. When you wear your turban, it's a sign of, like I said, humility.
Royalty.
And when Melchizedek first came and he met him and Selassie, Melchizedek was one of the ones that always wore the turban. So, and, you put that on when you humble yourself, but still royal.
Yeah, from that angle, it looks very regal, especially the crowns, the points.
Well,
yeah. So the more hair you get, some cats in Jamaica, then
because some cats, when them dreads get even longer, they wear the Pope joint. But anyway,
for real though.
Yeah, I know. Hey, listen. So
learn something new every day.
When you yeah, it's crazy because you still got your dreads. Because I watch dudes around me where it's God's will for some. They start losing dreads start falling out. They don't want them to go, but if they can stay, let it rock. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. So listen, you got something you want to add? Over there, D?
You got something? Because I got something. All right, so coming up, freestyling was always rhyming off the top of your head, like making it up as you go. Okay. Since you're like the most known freestyler in hip hop, I want to know, when did that change into, it's just a written verse and I'm calling it a freestyle? When you say, the new freestyle from so and so, and it's obviously a written verse. When did that happen?
I think the transition happened when mixtapes became really relevant. Like really dominating the scene. And there was always, you look at the back of the mixtape and the track listing would always have freestyle with blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you go down a couple, be like freestyle, blah, blah. And so I think maybe with that came about. But I also remember even back when I first started freestyling, people would say that too, like when they would write what I would call like a non-coherent verse where they're just styling, but it's written down, like, you rhyming against the imaginary MC or you busting your fake gun, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you write it down, and that's kind of like a form of freestyle. I wouldn't say it was freestyle, it's more styling. Freestyle is living in the moment, thinking thoughts before the last thought was even thought of, if you think it.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean,
what freestyle is to me.
I agree with you. I'm being that a lot of my first records that came out, I was freestyle, and meaning that really, like, I didn't have anything memorized. I could really go in like that. I mean, still obviously, but I mean that's my first records. Militia and FALA, all them songs, Crush, all of them. I'm freestyling right there on spot. You see what I'm saying? So, but one thing I did learn. When I first came to New York, probably around 91, I had just got out. And I went, and then I started hearing dudes so-called freestyling. And then I hear that verse on a record, on their record, you know what I mean? I'd be like, it ain't even a freestyle.
Yeah.
Like, so I seen it, like I saw Kane do it. I saw...
Suge, I remembered it. I remembered it, Suge. When I spit it to you, I remembered it. I went straight to the studio and laid it down. That's what happened.
Nah, but you know what? You know what? I never questioned them. But I seen that like more than once. So I was like, oh shit. Like, for instance, a good one was the when Premier was making Zwick and Lord Finesse is there. And so it'd be, doom, 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 right? It's just playing and Lord Finesse is rhyming for about a half hour. I'm like, oh, that's just long as hell. Right? I'm like, but it was dope though. I'm kind of fresh in New York too. So I'm like, wow, motherfuckers is nice, Then I was somewhere else. And I got in a session and shit, and he rhymed that same rhyme. And I was like, oh. So I started seeing, but still for me, freestyle was always with
it was like his prepared cipher rhyme. That was,
right.
Okay, I see.
Right.
So if a fan is at a SuperNatural show in Gary, Indiana, and then he goes to the next show in Detroit, Michigan, he's gonna see two different freestyles, right? That's what you're saying? Like
all the time.
That's cool.
All the time. Even when I do the 3 MCs, when I set it up, I use the same hook to set it up.
Yeah.
But anything I'm in between that is all me just making. Even when I do the Biggie, every night when I do Biggie, he's saying something different. Some nights it's just Biggie by himself. Some nights it's me and Biggie talking back and forth.
That must be tough.
Like,
kind of like ventriloquism, being like a ventriloquist kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so anytime that I freestyle, and then, one of the things that became my trademark at my show, that was how I would always end the show, and I still kind of use it to this day, is I would always have do what was called the freestyle obstacle course. It's been bitten many times now at this point.
I'm here.
I was the originator of that particular routine, and I'd have people hold up whatever was within their grasp, right, and I would start to rap about it, and that would always be the end of my show. And the reason I always ended with that is because it always left a real solid memory in the minds of the people that see me, you know? So yeah, freestyle to me was always living in the moment, making moments.
Funny, I did that several times as well with people. You could pick up, just start rhyming. You know what I mean? So, yeah, what's good?
I seen you do that. I've actually seen you do that. This guy I know, he wanted to be a rapper. This is in like the early mid 90s. He was like, "Oh, I held up a lighter," and this guy rapped about it. I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then I went to see you, and I was like, "Oh shit, this must be the guy he was talking about." But it was like that guy's claim to fame was you freestyled about he like held up a lighter at a concert.
Yeah, but what's so funny is like the reason I would do that too is because in certain audiences, when you would do that, if it was like some real crazy motherfuckers, you just never know what they would pull out.
Yeah.
And so it would turn into some it was always moments with that routine that I loved doing it because I was like, man, you just never know. Like one of my greatest ones that somebody handed me one time, and it was crazy. I mean, I've gotten bras and I've had rubber chickens, I've had fucking knives.
Who brings that to a show?
Yeah, I've had knives. Somebody handed me a crow, like a stuffed crow one time, and I put the shit on my shoulder and did a whole rap about, you know, all kind of crazy things along the way. But one of the illest ones that ever happened, this lady was in the front row. This was at a festival. And me and Z-Trip, the DJ Z-Trip was rocking. And shout out to Z-Trip. She hands me her baby.
Oh my God.
It was a little boy. And so,
did she ran? No, go ahead.
So mid freestyle, I grabbed the little kid. I grabbed the little kid and I put him, bro, I got him. And I'm rhyming with him, and I'm rhyming about babies and love the kids. And Shorty is just chilling. He's not even, he's not crying. He's rocking. And then at one point he points his finger up like towards me. And I said, see, even Shorty knows that I can spit. He knows that I'm some shit. So the crowd goes, and I pass the baby back. But, you know, like that's how that thing great. Happened. And freestyle is like,
you sure you didn't have that baby planted in the crowd?
Why was that baby there?
No.
Why the white man got to bring the story down?
Why was there a baby at that concert? I got it.
They didn't have the microphone close enough so he could go, dang.
Imagine the kid's shirt said, "It's yours."
So listen, listen. Right about now, God. I mean, you know, Chef Tiny, you guys do your little thing. You know?
Let us know what are your socials, so whoever hasn't heard of you can go find you. Let us know what your newest projects are. You know, keep the people informed as to what you're doing.
Well, currently, if you want to find me on my socials, you can find me at MC SuperNatural on Facebook, or you can find me at MC SuperNatural on Instagram. You know, my current projects. You can also hit my website if you want to cop some merch. I got some fly merch up there at mcsupernatural.com. Go get you a hoodie, t-shirt, you know, something, you know, nice to throw on. But my current projects right now, what I'm working on, I finished 2 albums, and I'm kind of like this stalemate with it, like trying to figure out like how I want to put the music out. And I'm trying not to overthink it. Sometimes I tend to overthink my projects, but I really took my time to produce these last 2 by myself. And when you go on that journey for your first time as an MC to produce one of your own projects, I'm really proud of it. And I'm ready to put that out just into the world as a gift to being gone for so long from the people, as far as giving them actual physical music to hear. Freestyle is one thing, but physical music's another. So working on that. I also, you know, I paint, and I've been doing like interactive art shows where I hang up like 45 pieces of my artwork, and then I play my live and I freestyle about what my paintings are and why I painted them. You know, that's something
Nice.
around LA. And that's pretty much what's in store. And if I can get this brother to do some of these videos that I got in my head that's driving me crazy, then
I'm down for that for sure.
Yeah, we'll look forward to looking at that in your social media.
and that's really what we're doing. Eventually, I want to put out my son's project. He's been working hard to try to get his music together. So, he's going through his little transformation and finding himself as an artist. I'm ready.
Cool.
And that's it. Like keeping the shit rolling, just creating.
I'm gonna tell you, listen, I mean, it's been more than a pleasure.
Hell yeah.
I'll show you. I'll show you. Keep talking. You keep talking.
No, I was just saying it's more than a pleasure that you came on the show, man. We was trying to, you know what I mean? Wanting to have you on, so that was great for us. And I got one more question. Once you show me, you're gonna. You got
snap.
your boy. I was about.
Listen, man. If you want to talk to Natural, you have to talk to me, man. My manager. Wap Shug, Wap Group Home Foundation. Wap Big Shug in the building.
Yeah, you know I'm here. You have a bit of a monkey face.
Yeah, man. Talk to man. Bomba.
Hey.
I'm not black man, the monkey, man.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
You look like Eddie Murphy. You look like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I love it. His eyes are a little.
Yo, that's just dope.
Hell yeah.
Hey, your mouth pink inside like pussy boy.
Oh boy. The danger zone.
Hey, yo.
How would you know?
I got one question.
Man, you talk to Rasta like that.
That is definitely the first on the Danger Zone podcast.
Hey, fire. Hey, yo, I got one. Yo, can you just hit us with the Biggie thing before you get out?
All right.
Yo, that shit. Hey, I remember that dog thing too. That shit is dope. I remember that though. Damn, man.
That's Dongle. That's my man Dongles right there. Like we have a group of puppeteers I work with. We call ourselves the Puffets. Like we puff the herb.
I
But
love it.
we're the Puffets. And so it's kind of like a hip hop based, like kind of little
That's
wild.
dope.
Like we're working on something right now, and that's one of the characters that I developed, of course, based off of myself. But his name is
Puffets with a PH or two F's. Which way?
With a PH.
Nice, and I kind of figured.
That's great.
Hey, did you have him? Did you have him made? Did you design that?
My man, one of my partners, he used to date a girl that worked for Jim Henson, so she taught him the process.
Damn, that's
and he made those during COVID, and it was a joke. It was all a joke. We really wasn't serious about it, and a lot of the cats kind of fell out of the troop and didn't really like keep posting. But me, I kept posting with it. I had him. I can set a camera up where it looks like he's playing the drum machine.
I love it.
That's dope.
So go on my Instagram and scroll down. He's got his own videos. He has his own Instagram page. The whole shit.
Yo, so it's like, do you know the Muppet? Do you know the Muppet Man?
So yeah,
man.
that's been
Jim Henson. His contribution to society was so big. He died in 1990. We just talked about him in 2023 on a rap podcast.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yo, let me tell you something, man. Yo, every time I see a black puppet like that, or one of them, it always takes back.
Every time.
For real, takes me back to the original. On Sesame Street, speaking of Jim Henson, there was a black puppet. His name was Roosevelt Franklin.
Yeah, Roosevelt. Yeah.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
So like with that, what I found with that was, watch this. Let me tell you something before I go. With this, I went to Jamaica, right? I'm a close friend with Damian Marley and his manager and the whole little family. So we go. I go to Jamaica almost with them on a cruise called the Jamrock Cruise. So I didn't, for 2 years because of COVID, I wasn't able to go. So I was able to take my family with me this time. And so my homie was like, yo, I bet you won't take the puppet with you. And so I took the cruise ship. And so finally I got the nerve up because sometimes I'm weird with it. You can't pull up just a puppet out in public. People think you're weird or something. But so I did. I pulled it out, and bro, the joy that brought grown people, adults,
Facts.
adults, was some of the best shit ever. And I mean, like, people was coming up, yo, can I take a picture with him? And it was I swear, he became
Like,
instant celebrity.
Excuse me, MC SuperNatural. Can I take a picture with the puppet?
Can you take it? Can you take the? Not even be in it. Can you take a photo of me and the puppet?
I know. You do it. That's wild. They'd be like, you do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yo, that's dope. The whole concept is dope, man. We appreciate you being here.
Yes.
So, yeah, I know I interrupted you, but can we get that Biggie thing one more time?
All right, check it. Anytime I pull that mic, it's like a weapon. Biggie Round now spitting freestyles from heaven. Anytime that we do it, yo, Black, you know it's good. You win the danger song with SuperNat and Suge. Black incredible, freestyle unforgettable. Yo, we come to get you, hit you like the militia. Told you that we hot, you rockin' with Big Pop. He started at the end, the brother cannot stop. I talk to Scotland Rock, I'm chillin' up here with Pun. And when I spit it, we still number one. Breathe at ease, do things they can't believe. It's magical when I pull the tricks out my sleeve. It's nice, yo. I'm Rico Price. Me and Biggie got together, spit the freestyles tight. You ain't got it right. Yeah, brother, the syncopation. Me and the God right now having the conversation about to change the nation, brother. You know it's true. It's SuperNatural. Nobody do it better than you. Yeah, you know you clever. Yeah, you know you ill. And that's the way you kill them with the freestyle skills. For real.
Yeah, that's just dope. Yo, you heard it here.
That was dope.
SuperNatural, MC Nat, SuperNatural. Oh, we gotta give it up. Hey, me and the two other crew, we gotta give it up. That shit was dope in the
podcast today, man.
Yo, I appreciate you, man. Hope to see you in my travels soon enough. And
I just followed you, so I'll hit you up.
Please do, man. Please hit me up. I'll send you some of the new music, exclusive. You can check it out and, see what you think, and then maybe we can write a treatment together.
All right,
I got this joint that's kind of like really relevant to the times about the internet that I put out.
All right.
And I'll shoot it to you.
All right, definitely. Thank you. All right.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. This was dope. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah.
And we got to get on a record together, big homie.
Of course. We got, hey, it's going to be called Not the Rico Act. But anyway, but on some real shit, on some real shit, your number's locked and mine's is, so let's do that, man,
All right. I'll send you a couple.
Yeah, do that for real. Like, we heard that from a few people, but they ain't came through yet. But, I think you're a little different. You know what I mean?
We going to get
He is a little different.
Yo, when we interviewed you, I didn't think I was gonna hear nothing about Coming to America or the Queen song. So yo, that shit was some good shit. Appreciate you, my man. Peace up.
All right. Headquarters.
Yeah. As we move on.
Yeah, it's that time of the week. Shout out to our guest, MC SuperNatural. Came through, rapped,
that was my man.
That was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's that time of the week. Stupid.
Yeah, I appreciate that too.
As
this week,
hell.
You know what I'm saying? We got Stupid as Hell. It's kind of stupid plus one.
Uh-oh.
Equals stupid two. I don't know. So, this past week, I say, hold on, let me get it up from the top. I want it right.
It's all good. Hit that like button, subscribe.
A woman went to go get her hair. She went inside the salon, barbershop. Maybe someone was in there. I forget what the story was.
It was her son.
But in the store. So she left the kid in the car.
This was in Lawrence.
So, in Lawrence. So she dropped. As she did that, so this guy walks past, and then he walks back and jumps in the car and takes off. So, crazy thing about this, first of all, left your car running with the kid in there. They ain't too cool.
Yeah.
So, but the dude walks past and jumps in it and takes it. So I don't know how soon it was before he found out that there was a kid in the car, but he went to go pick up his girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? So he went to pick his girlfriend up. Now it's
Like
two stupids and a kid. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm sure at some point somebody was like, damn,
when she reached back to dump the blunt guts in the back seat, and fucking there was a fucking kid sitting back there.
You know what I mean? So, this happened on Monday. Adam Maxwell, 36 of Bethune, and Jamie Garrity, 36 of Bethune, were charged with kidnapping and receiving a stolen motor vehicle.
Oh shit!
Idiots. Garrity originally identified herself to police as Erin Clark of Haverhill, your adjoining towns. Officers said they learned of a real identity from an anonymous caller in charge of providing a false name at the booking was added
on her.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence police said they received the call at about 8, and the Honda Pilot was stolen with a 22-month-old baby in the back.
22 months.
In court, the prosecutor detailed the toddler's mother's brief entering the barbershop where the child was taken.
Yeah.
Max, who was accused of taking the vehicle during that time, and local and state police units were actively searching for the vehicle, and all available. Massachusetts State Police Patrol and K9 units also responded in the area. So they both had their bail revoked in previous cases, so they're already too kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? And
on that strike. Right.
And each one of them asked for a detox program. It turns out that when they took the car, they went to one of them, the dude's father's house. And the father's like, take that damn baby to the hospital. So then they drive the baby to the hospital and drop the baby off.
It's too
and
old.
then they were apprehended.
Yeah.
Soon after.
What
But it was
idiots.
just so.
Wow.
So this.
They did so many illegal things.
So I heard the same thing. I heard it on the street. I don't. That lady's dumb for leaving her kid in the car. No matter where you're going, you're going to put something in the mailbox. Get out of the car and bring your kid to the mailbox.
Don't leave your car. I don't want to do everything open either.
So I'm not, I'm not trying to victim blame or anything like that. But I mean, come on, man. What the fuck are we doing? You're in Lawrence. But anyway,
if you don't know.
so I heard that she was just running in there to deliver her man some food because he was the barbershop owner or barber.
Yeah.
And that happened in an instant because just people are dumb, man.
They set the guy's bail was set at $75,000, and the woman's bail is set at $10,000. So then they both requested detox. So
she just got picked up after the
because
fact.
if she just shut up and didn't say anything, her bail probably would have been $50. Because why are you with him? I didn't know he picked me up. But
said they had bail revoked on something else. They probably were already in trouble. And then on top of that, she gave them a false identification because she probably had the warrant.
The police.
Yeah, so that's really what happened. Then they were like, oh, they had bail already. So that's the dumb shit. She probably mad at the dude for doing it. But those are stupid as hell this week. It's not one, it's two. Once again, let me see. It's Adam Maxwell of Methuen and Jamie Garrity, 36 of Methuen.
I thought it was going to be Kodak Black.
Whether it's drugs or whatever it is, when your stupid ass jumps in a car, it's not the smartest thing to go pick someone else up and put them in the car and then look in the back and there's a baby. So, and take them to the hospital. So you guys, they did a whole lot with a baby. You were babysitting free of charge.
Yeah.
This week, they're stupid as hell.
I thought I thought it was gonna be Kodak Black was gonna be stupid as hell. Shots Kodak Black for.
Well, you can't do everybody at all times.
Yeah, just because he's going into what do you think he's going into rehab for?
Well, I'll tell you something else I heard about that too. But go ahead.
What do you think? What drug? Fucking fentanyl. He's doing straight fentanyl. And I'm just like, man, that's just some wild shit, right? Because you hear all these stories, like, I'm not in that life, so but you hear all these stories about, oh, this guy did coke and there was a little sprinkle of fentanyl in it and he died, and I'm like, this guy's doing straight fentanyl. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's great.
Man, anyway, man, hey, that's all I got. I'm sticking to it.
Well, that was it. That was 58 deep.
The end. 58 deep. Wow.
58 deep.
Yeah.
At 58,
You know, hey,
you might be sore.
once again, another good show. I appreciate SuperNatural coming through. You know, appreciate a lot of good information, a lot of stuff we talked about. So y'all tune in. You know, like I always say, excuses have no purpose, so don't make them.
Don't make them.
We got to grow. As we grow, we glow. You know, and you know, a lot of changes can be made. You know what I'm saying? We can all make changes, but it's one day at a time. And, you know, each day affords us the opportunity with life. And then life, you know, things are endless and all things are possible. Peace, we out.
Peace. On my dark days.
On
my dark days, I chopped crack on the regular. Ran up in spots and clapped on the regular. Took big fat ass stacks from the register. No matter how hard they tried, they still couldn't measure the hard out hand.